Hello everyone, welcome back to Changfied YouTube channel, your trusted source for latest update across South Sudan and beyond. Today we bring you stories that matter, stories of justice, struggle and hope. We take you into two powerful stories. First, a South Sudan-born Canadian man who now faces up to 30 years in Ethiopia prison after being arrested for carrying walkie-talkies, device he said were meant to help people back home in South Sudan. And second, the latest update from Juba, where the special court hearing against Dr. Machar and other SPLMIO leader continues to spark tension and raise questions about peace and fairness in South Sudan. Before we begin, please help the channel by subscribing and turn on the notification bell so whenever we upload a new video, you can be notified. Let's begin with our first top stories. Imagine leaving your home just to help your people and end up being up behind bar in another country. That is the story of Peter Paul Jola, a South Sudan-born Canadian citizen now facing up to 30 years in prison in Ethiopia. Peter Paul, who has lived in Canada for over 3 decades, left his home in Kitchener, Ontario in March this year, 2025. His goal was simple: to visit relatives and deliver a few supplies to his people in South Sudan, a country still struggling with hunger, conflict, and displacement. But what began as a short humanitarian trip turned into a nightmare for him. According to report from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, or CBC, the 67-year-old man was arrested upon arrival at the airport in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The reason: he was found carrying a few walkie-talkies, small two-way radios, in his luggage. Now, these walkie-talkies were bought online from Amazon and, according to his family, were meant for use by villagers and local volunteers in South Sudan, people who have no other way to communicate in areas without phone networks. But in Ethiopia, walkie-talkies are considered restricted items, grouped together with other devices like GPS unit and surveillance cameras under the country 2022 import control list. The Ethiopian government treats them as potential military equipment, and anyone caught bringing them in without permission can be charged with serious crime. And that is exactly what happened to Peter. He is now faced 3 criminal charges, each carrying a possible 10-year sentence. If found guilty on all 3, he could spend the rest of his life in prison in Ethiopia. Peter's daughter, Nyarini Pal, told Canadian media that her father never even left the airport after he landed. He wasn't planning to stay long, she said. He just wanted to drop off some supplies and come back. Those supplies, according to her, included only a few radios, clothing, and basic household items. But when Ethiopian officials discovered that the walkie-talkies were being transported toward the South Sudanese border, they immediately changed their tone, accusing Peter of importing military equipment. His daughter said, "It is completely ridiculous. My father was only trying to help people who were disconnected from their loved one. In some villages, families have no phone, no signal, no way to know if their relatives are alive." Since his arrest in March 2025, Peter has been held in Kaliti maximum security prison in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, one of the country's toughest detention centers. According to his daughter, the prison requires inmates to provide for themselves, including food, water, and even medication. Peter is not in good health. He suffered from diabetes, has a suspected kidney tumor, and still walks with a cane after a serious car accident in 2022. Every week, his family sends between $300 up to 400 US Canadian dollar to cover his basic need in prison, money for food, water, and medicines. But despite all their effort, the Canadian embassy has told them that there is very little they can do. A legal expert said Canada has limited power in such cases. Aaron Schull, a lawyer and international governance expert in Waterloo, said that while Canada can provide consular support, it cannot interfere in another country's legal process. He explained it. Countries have the right to make and enforce their own law. Canada can offer support, but it cannot force a release. Still, many say this law in Ethiopia is unfair and perhaps outdated. The restriction on walkie-talkies came after requests from some UN agencies to control communication devices, but critics argue it is being used to criminalize innocent travelers. Nyarian say her father had no idea that carrying walkie-talkies was illegal, otherwise he would never have done it. She say he is a peaceful man, a law-abiding citizen. He's been in Canada for more than 30 years and never broke a law. Now, as his next court date approaches, the family has changed lawyers and is hoping for mercy. They are also calling on the Canadian government to take stronger action and write a formal letter of support to Ethiopian authorities. They have even started a GoFundMe campaign to help pay for legal fees and daily prison costs. In her emotional words, Nyarin said, "We just want the government to take this seriously. What if this was a politician or someone in power? Would they be left to rot in a foreign prison?" Peter Paul's case reminds the world of how simple act of kindness can turn into tragedy when politics, security law, and misunderstanding collide. While one man suffered quietly behind bars in Ethiopia hoping for justice, another story is unfolding closer to home in Juba, South Sudan. This one involved one of the country's most well-known political figures, Dr. Riek Machar Durgon, the first vice president and leader of the SPLM-IO. Before we proceed with this update on the sham trial of Dr. Machar and IO officials, please hit the channel by subscribing and turn on the notification bell so whenever we upload a new video, you can be notified. Let's look at the reaction. The Nasser incident held its 12th session, or we can say 11th session inside Freedom Hall in Juba. This ongoing trial, according to the SPLM-IO, is but weakening the peace agreement and silencing opposition voices. The court session continued with question of Major General Basilio Thomas Wani, the police commissioner from Northern Bargazal, who served the lead investigator in the case. During this session, a prosecutor presented new claim trying to link several senior SPLM and SPLA-IO leaders, including Dr. Machar, to an alleged attack on an SSPDF garrison in Nasser. Let's break down what was said in court. First, Honorable Port Kang Chol, South Sudan Minister of Petroleum, was accused of sending $30,000 to mobilize Nuer youth, known as the Nuer Army, to attack SSPDF positions. Second, businessman Mam Paldor was accused of financing the operation and sharing casualty lists over WhatsApp. Third, Honorable Gadwe Lampoy was accused of giving a statement critical of the SSPDF deployment to Nasser, which the investigator claimed was part of a mobilization. Fourth, Lieutenant General Gabriel Doblam, Deputy Chief of Defense Forces, was accused of discussing ammunition with IO commander. Fifth, Dr. Riek Machar himself was accused of authorizing the mobilization and failing to prevent killing of stranded SSPDF soldiers. Sixth, Brigadier General Camilo Ganmai Kel allegedly shared document and helped move unlicensed weapon. And seventh, Lieutenant Mading Yakrik was accused of sharing troop movement on WhatsApp. And eighth, Dominic Gadgokrik allegedly circulated a promotion list said to celebrate the victory in Nasser. These are the people that were accused. But different lawyer of Dr. Machar, lawyer Dr. Gary Raimondo Leggi, objected, calling the testimony baseless and politically driven. He argued that the prosecution's questions were leading and unfair, but the presiding judge Jimmy Salala Deng overruled most objections. The court then adjourned the session to October 22nd, 2025 for continuation. Well, reaction and analysis, the SPLMIO released a statement immediately after the hearing, rejecting the entire process and calling it a sham trial. They argued that the court was created by the SPLM IG government to destroy the peace deal and discredit Dr. Machar and his team. The SPLMIO also called for the immediate and unconditional release of all its detained members, saying that this case is nothing more than a political witch hunt. Observers say this trial could widen division in the fragile peace process, especially if it continues without fair procedures or international oversight. We already look at the two important story from Peter Pal, a tragic detention in Ethiopia, to the ongoing courtroom drama in Juba. One message stands clear: justice in South Sudan is often influenced by politics, power, and pressure. Ordinary citizen and even a high-ranking official can become victim when systems fail to protect truth and fairness. Jo banling guasame bana roiketin kontin lad korudin raiweka South Sudan. Bana jetuk ring mijetuk karam kel muunwara mijal ke radio jena ka Canada. Bana jetuk jen leramo jen charge kefre which ka Ethiopia ka Addis Ababa. Kan konu ka jen lerame ko biaje ling in detail ka ta dana chire me jetuk ja mi jira me jidid guasame gor jen wojin dere subscribe ka de notification bell der jetwan ko mi jete ko me chala re der sho mala shube keji. Bana jo me bana jeling chet ka do dan en cha gor ke je ke chalat ke je ko chalat ke media ta dan en cha wude me cha je yen ke je bana jeling chalat ka according to I radio jendan dong gor jen en wo bana jeling kel ko do dan chalat ke ja. Chalat no Peter Paul Jol would mi jen ka Canada jen ka Canada chale Peter Paul Jola jen South Sudanese but run Canada a citizen ka Canada. Jen tam right ko na chala do jen giko dong baje yen karun ti jandang diok re rule Ethiopia. Peter Paul michi te karun ti shop ke run jandang diok ka Canada. Jen che jen dor mishale Kitchener Ontario ka Canada ka pai diok ka jar wona me pai doge dan e bukol to ga je kanasir awami che jen on wena mo wa ka do ba chalat ke je wa jen ko der lok der je wutup gwas dan en ka South Sudan gwa dan en dong chi korek chi ko tok tin ka jo dan chalat ka ne ko na mar ke je tin mar ke Peter Paul chi kala do wona ka ne Peter Paul che jen re wichin winami ko der ne ka der ko lok no ka South Sudan gwada dan en to ko tiketin ka gwada dan cha na cha ka joitin mi communication ku ye long ko shi phone shi kan let and when mo cha jo mo cha jalat cha jalat shi mane ka jen da ngai gwi kon lo ler shi der long na but ti dor cha rawutan into lari kaja ka jo mo cha lat Canadian Broadcasting Corporation cha la dono ne na Peter Paul take rundi jen bakeli baro la runda kada jen chaje yen airport rewika Addis Ababa Ethiopia ko wajen jele ke radio chal ke walkie talkie walkie talkies jen radio melalet ke short distance cooperate within short distance no lo de rande right generan telekad mugore just shale walkie talkie and walkie talkie mo wajen jele ka dio je karaoke wonyam kwa kwich but wam jele ka mo ken teach kedeti look ke role Ethiopia cha gurno dong der ander te ke walkie talkie and gwas mo charge ke airport ke jodan chalat wa charge detain cha you cap cha ke men device ni radio ton ke walkie talkie no mo and when mo cha walkie talkie ni ke cha ke chala do walkie talkies ke device to talkie radio to ton na right ke short distance chala no ken ko ka website mi chala Amazon no ko online jo mi chala the family wa ken walkie talkie titini o der ko community content dewich and o de ko din do ka and o gwad mi mo te chotetin ka communication dak ko dong de ko din chwaling chala do no mo chaje lok kume Ethiopia ko chajal wa chala do jen titi ke nyin military equipment ke nyin de ni tichiran ka de kok no ki Ethiopia walkie talkie gwegejen wojen charge gor ke charge nok ko wajen reide take a GPS unit take a camera niba actually ten man chalat ki Ethiopia la gejen wo chicken walkie talkie chicken gor chicken camera ne chicken ga gor me dong te camera me dong me te tardien charge gor ken unless miti ke wargade mi jel ke jino gwada dana bitin but ko walkie talkie kan ko moy ke warga no gwada dan no katin chagu je notiti ke military equipment ke nying de ni cha chulu ko no dere kanang ka jo dana chalat cha to ya you cap and when mo mi shikara jo Canadian Consular Authority ka airport rewika Addis Ababa and when mo cha you cap and then cha jogo no nang keni ja jogo no wa ka South Sudan gor je no de ne ka de ko lo ka ko de ka no communicate liang nat ka je no nang ka South Sudan ko Ethiopia cha gu je no rameme che dwer che jelat ko nang nying de ni ka ne ke nying de ni ko dong te ko de lat ka ke jen do badan en kap ka je ka cha kwak to ya you cap ka je bani an action content la tintake airport which Addis Ababa and tema murai ko na chala den wo take 3 criminal charges teacher lel ke jelo de yen ke je min yam cha wojen der kel der te karun wel der do den der te karun wel der do den run wel lo ma den dial kan der ti me cha jigo no gwan der del te ke 30 year ka te jen ka jo dan chalat Peter Paul wa ramitel criminal record. He has no criminal record ka Canada gwada dan betin but ka joma chalat nyaade mishale nyarene pal charai ke Canadian media anu gwan jen nime ko jien ka Canada ka shobda ka Addis Ababa ka jen paidiok jen gwada dan chai Cape Airport cheng airport ken ni jien tin chumen wale chwa chu yene je ka chwa yo nang anetin kontila dini rol Ethiopia ajana kan gwan kan jen nyareni cha joma cha jalat ajana entama nika dobe cha chop ka je ko cha nyaar jalat no we re wujin wi mi ka Sudan ko dere kan walkie talkie ti tin kon dere fam dere ko lo ka tong mi chere mi rami klen humanitarian aid but je ten out no titi ke military equipment ana dumangai ke je ka jodan chilat jeni che ka de kokne ko en walkie talkie tele je lot wintin kokien but rule Ethiopia and many take a lot ka kala kana gujen no gor kana o bika korb kana to je ko jen wa take GPS ka take tong wan ti dong de rande ro de linga ka kana mo cha de gor kum Ethiopia ka jodan chalat so chobe airport try you cap chala do na men teme changa ni netin kontin la Ethiopia chikan gor no de kan gwanda de kana lon ka gwanda tele je background milari mi cho konlat tele je ka Canada chi nyari ne je jo mo cha jalat ajane mishire men en mani dumangai ke je she chaje kon lat ken gwadi dan jenetin ka Canada ki gwadan jenetin eno walkie talkie shaka nok role dan witin ko mijeni ko ndor me extended flight mu ka South Sudan we kai ba chuke Ethiopia from Ethiopia be rat ka South Sudan titin cha de jogono cha ka law eno na bat ka joma chalat gwas me chalat no Peter Paul cha jogono keni kwemeni akadot ka airport dundu jog biga bolo jog awache chuin sis ke chalat no deo jetele kalot eno no ka do bran chaling jen wo we ka South Sudan ya gu jen ram me gor jen obakur be joto gre wuchin gudemi ajen do badan en cha chu kep ka je chi nyade ni nyare ni chela do ne na gwanda ni Peter Paul jen chaje yen tama chaje nan ka quality maximum security prisoner we ka Addis Ababa ki Ethiopia cha nan ka quality jen gwada dan en chaje nan tin ka jen gwada dan en titin tama ka joma chala de nyare ni gwasame jene ne generate jene mom chale quality mone en ran la goro no bajal ka kwende mitele ji kwendu tele ji fiku ka tele ji walta brodo tom ga ke am gore jin je wen tamala ne yoto ngwala ne kajak yoti chop ko kudang jok Canadian dollar wona ka kudang wan Canadian dollar ne kajak gwada dan titin ko en Peter Paul Gwandien wajen cha yak ka turbil ka kor gwade shiwe jente ka re grung ne ki rogda beje so kada reality ni wa gwada titin watik condition midit a jene shi kan on no de ka right ka netin kon tila Canadian embassy cha ka joga no tila nei luang ka mishit kana mene jene kan shi ne de interfere ka we dodien mete ka ngot ka kiete ka ngot ko na yen rode ka kui walkie talkies ke military equipment but we ka Canada ti shi ka danger and walkie talkie barol Ethiopia ke rik so cha jo mo chalare wa ken chirin mo jentama ke lo yodien michale Aaron Shul mo rami mo mala lawyer ko dong dara right ke kum Ethiopia ko de Peter Paul gwan nyari ni de je dilun ki de je palika ka do badan en chalat ke je ni me dan ka pai dok me kwa je yen chu men tama kana kon lon chu men tama tele ngo dare ti je a chi nyari ni chala ro ne na gwan kuye jenu kenen wo toki e ka tijek te loka gwada dan weten dumenga je dong che ga de ko ne da ka sho pal dare jala la jen karwade je won tama na mering di da long gwanda phase 30 years te banang re tijen dong de jen karun jen dang dok meken kume Canadian government mekan interfere ka do badan de jen ke je gwandi dong da te karun jen dang dok so chinyari ne chikan men shall ke go fund me chikan realika do mode kan euro kon la kan gwandi yo kula yo pinga de kan kula long ko yuti 300 to 400 per week ka yuto ngwana long chi euro tot Canadian dollar tibla yor ka pin ka kon dan shame ka putin ma be ke dun del wale jen jordan en chalat ku kan lano ne ka konintin be dong ba gwandien ba jen nang ka ko de nyok ku kan ala ti jeno dong de gwandien de ja palika ka do bran ci to ko gwandien cha yen ka pay dok ronkin dangro jen dang rew de je rew dan kan kon lin ba ka do bran ci to ko je gwandien Peter Paul e wun wara ka nyari ne bo nyan wer so jome am le roda chana bin ka do badan en shi kume SPLA ayo shi reaction lat kaja kan kono nyam goro no jin subscribe ka notification bell bijitwan komite mishi bare gwadum be chamala shi bikaje mana jom bandiling ken when many ka changa jan dang ro ka pai waron kin dang ro jan dang ro ide die cha Dr. Machar cha jan nang ka special court ka kwi kore dan chi to ka nasir gwade shi de ni shi nyintin kana kume men raike kir ma yade so de ni kir ma yade kana ne de kontin la nwer waya mi ke ngane nwere me chi kon me je toktin kanasir an kore dana jen yan ke Dr. Machar channel la man dana chalat gwas me reaction dana chalat kume Dr. Machar ka jom chikana lat chikala do ne na kani an ta dan en loke Dr. Machar ke je kani politically motivated chikan jom chikana lat an court session ke do badan en loke Dr. Machar ke je ka changjan dangro en rameda ne chirwa che Major General Basile Thomas Wani an che Dr. Machar che je gwanyelung ke tibet bay Major General Basile Thomas Wani jen police commissioner ran nosen bargazal jen Ramadan la lead investigator ke Ramadan en tichna ki goin Dr. Machar ke jodan chala ke jogwasme jen che ne de kono cha yen ke Dr. Machar kel che ka goin ke ka goin tibet bay ke tidit te go ken wo ke kaitni chana ka kon lat ko be kon kulo wo kamana cha reaction cha lat kum SPLIO ka kor gwade dane sha Dr. Machar eno chaje lukaje gwasame ka joma chalat chala do ne na raman nyama cha gwanye honorable pot kang chol cha gwanye no jen che yuru chop ke $30,000 che nwer waya mi che ka fan ke je ke che ko mo ke yo memeni cha no e kach eno no ko lat ke no honorable pot kang chol jen che yu che ka jak kare nyal yu 30,000 jen chala the lead investigator ka goin manan chicken pot kang goin kaja and pot kang che yu chop ke $30,000 e chaka kam ngenen wari we are dark base dung SSPDF and me charge jack of course ne me chito merode businessman wuri shala mam pal dor jen charge goin bo and jen ishe operation ishe just support no wala ja kam ka ni ko to ka bot take lisdian ka whatsapp charge je ka kume mam pal dor charge goin ka rami momela businessman ke jodan chalat ke je cha goin ko jen ko nwer wayam ko ka ko fan so na me erode diodian honorable Gadwich Lampoch deputy chief of defense forces jen charge goin bon wo jen take a me teacher top teacher kam na teacher kamayo commander gwalda dana to rigtin kanasir na mokel ngwandien Dr. Machar point de cha ja gwan bo en ojen che na che ga jugo no kwa lada mobilization no ki we are nyenye ke SSPDF nyenye ke de indin contact nasser of course ne me e catch kwa gwan Dr. Machar lora bang the same way going ne ko kin ge ko gor kan obikente dial konde kan galat ke kwidien biken galat rek Machar chala no jen jong na no kwa ngen kwa mobilize ko ra to ke je jo mom chala tenetin content kwikil mi yadit bar kelien Brigadier General Camilo Gan Michael jana cha jagwani no take a document to share online and no ke kwi main take a message top and all that so the wa kel kirek take medi kana kam nor wayami barodian Lieutenant Mading Yakrik cha jagwani no jen eche ta dana jel ke dini che jetu ko WhatsApp ta ye jen ke dini SSPDF ta wo ka malakal ko de ko nasir me de ko kep kan wari kan wan wari wa jen che na che ko jogo no dini ka weni che share na mo ka social media ka WhatsApp yo ma chala badak den gwasme Dominic Gadgo Greek no sha gwanyen ojen etek lismship per Michel lat online ko they are celebrating victory medan ki to nasser wajen ja gwan ke jen kujamo eche na che ka realika ke chi na chi kan kalya ka do bran chi nyin ke je ke kum SSPDF titi ga disha gwan ka but different lawyer Dr. Machar ko la Dr. Gary Raimondo che mi chit kan me che je loko jen she to jegala do titi shika to ka cash ni changman chelat cha jogono place bini tidialati ka to ka cha jogono titi still permiatin kene ke misleading ka unfair no she judge misalela dengan wenmo watch overrule ka some ka most of the objection in kone angun Dr. Gary ta dan chira de tidialat ka ko de jene shika talk no jene ka kaini and wenmo ken jimmy salela denga ken ne rule ka tidiala kone yalat no she can court session ki look kana kap ka changa jandang ro widero ronkin daro jandang ro de dit ka reaction dana chala da kuma spila yo gwasme ka kor commission mene kanati kani politically motivated kada tini shikan be jang na South Sudan ko bete kamal ko reality kani dakani 2018 peace agreement each time no go what they are simply trying to destroy the peace deal ka we can Dr. Machar be kan jakapen ko jan do badana cha court special court cha design ka jam ko ran yalla ka gwasme cha la je ai won ne ka kaini shika talk and right now go ne de Dr. Machar kan je kwar de ga luñ ka tijen ko bnaw ko de mal de jalat so jom shikana me cha jalat ka do badan en cha jilin ka jam channel rajan tema ka ler dang rot batch Peter Paul do badana cha yen ka ja ka Ethiopia ko jale ka radio no dang ro walkie talkies ni kiete ko kin kan kwa to lu ka waken ke military equipment te sha gorno de ramimo mila civil dare jar ka mi jele ka de te del te ka warga mi sha gwarno gwada dana bitin no anyok man wa cha lu ko je wajen eche lar no nan ka so Sudan cha lu no cha gor cha gu je no ne merek no ka gu je no tine ka normally no de jal ka kwa tine ka Canada what mo chiga very important but role Ethiopia ka very important item watam gu je no dong de yene ka runi jandang diok ka do bdan cha kwa ro cha je ga bare ga di jenene wa de jeranten der del jal ka warga minyu do jin kwa ga ti ke de jo no cha ga no role Ethiopia na mo der tin ko la ka tem ke ko na gwada jentene ke airport cha de kam che de jal ka kwakta ba luk dorun dordan mitin you know anambo be jamat de jogo no kwakti ka kwak ti cha gor ka Ethiopia mishi kule luk de jo ke kanan ka yo bire bi yo jigala jin but kana jok en no gwada man men china matokten rawdo gwaza me ta dana cha da kan mu cha yen ge che mai kon no cha yen ke yen kasha no dua badan en lok Dr. Machar kaje sika thuok ajen me ku reaction non ko kuma spelayo anu malat ke kir me yadit away ko ba mal ba je destroy ke ba je yar malaysia na letten ko korun tungwan 2018 peace agreement and deal edani chatanya kir kana Dr. Machar so ri chire de yal kana kon gorano de nyaka yakel gorno jin bishang fa YouTube channel bi je subscribe ka bi je support comment mi bare be chama la shube kaji gwa sadana dong de ngwane de ngwane ka jigi mi cha dor cha la re ka gwat tek de choma la shubu ji an bi atakamal ajan gwadan gorno de kon chongtin chuje pure jeno jin bi comment ka bi la ka bi share ram kuje bi lara ko be channel be jagor an bi atakamal bye bye